Ooh, welcome to the Wayward Widow. Did you guys wonder where I was? Me too. Um, Microphone on. It is September 2nd. We did it, you guys. We made it. We made it into September. My life over the last 2 days has been a shit show. So I haven't been here because it's been a shit show, and it's really hard for me to do anything other than just survive when it's like that, you know. So it's a beautiful day here in the neighborhood in Pennsylvania. I am in the corner down near Philly. My name is Poet. Hi. If you're new here, welcome. If you're not new here, welcome anyway. Thanks for being here. Hit the subscribe if you would, and the like button. It really helps. I am a widow of going into my 7th month. I'm living in a 2-bedroom apartment. I've been here I'm in my 5th year here. And right now I am completely on my own. And my partner of 14 years almost, his name is Sky. He died of a disease called multiple system atrophy /P, the Parkinson's version. And so he had to leave me and go on to a rebirth because he is a Soto Zen Buddhist. And so in that case, there is a rebirth. So he didn't actually die. He just transitioned into what's next for him. So now you get me and all my little stories, but first things first, and let's get the important stuff out of the way. Check out one of my new cups, the fall leaves. Hit the Dollar Tree. You guys know, I tell you all the time, you want these $1.25 plus tax, you know. But we got the fall leaves, and I have one that has pumpkins. I don't know if I showed the pumpkins yet. But anyway, got the pumpkins, and I have sweet and creamy cold foam in there. And I got a jar of, actually my fingers are sticky. I got a jar of maraschino cherries, and I put a cherry on top. It does sink to the bottom, but it gives this nice little flavor. And here actually, is the pumpkin one. So they also have matching coffee cups, but you got to get over there because they're not going to last. They're not. They have tea towels, they have pot holders, you know, all that kind of stuff if you want that. But look at that. Oh, that needs to be washed. I didn't wash this. I wasn't the washer. That was my son. I didn't do this. I'm better than this. You guys know I'm better than this. My OCD would not allow this. Okay. That being said, I don't have a card handy, so we're not going to worry about that right now. But yes, I'm still working on the same darn gem art that I've been working on for like a month now. But look how far I got. I only have this little square, and then those little squares, and then this little bit over here. That's it. It is almost done. But I've been busy. There's a lot happening in my personal life that wasn't happening in my personal life that is now happening in my personal life. So some of my time is being taken up in other areas. I just lost a gem. Look, there it is. These things, sometimes they fall on the floor or something, and then they end up in my bed because they end up on the bottom of my feet. And then I like roll over, and then there's like a black gem stuck to my ass. I kid you not. And I'm like, why is this? What is this? It's like the Princess and the Pea. This little thing feels like a rock under my ass. I'm not kidding. So if you do diamond art, make sure you keep everything in the tray and not on the floor because it will stick to your ass. It will go from your feet to your ass, guaranteed. It happens. I'm not kidding you. You guys know I don't kid you about stuff that happens to me. I tell it like it is. You know, I always tell it like it is. Let's chat. Shall we chat? I'm a black lady today. I'm all in black. I've got the little black top. I've got the black cami. I've got the black leggings, and I've got my Stacy bracelets on. So I'm all set. No necklace though, so that's okay. We'll work with that. Let's talk mental health. I had a situation the other day where mental health came up, and questions about mental health. So let's just kind of do a overview on mental health. Why not? Because, you know, we all got something going on. And you know me, I talk about it all as much as I can get away with on YouTube so that they don't, you know, strike my channel. That is almost better than sex. Not that I would know that because it's been a while, but I'm guessing. She's been a widow way too long, can you tell? Okay, on to mental health. You guys know I put it all out on the table. I hide nothing. I've had 3 different psychiatrists over my time. I'm 65, by the way. 65 in my 66th rotation around the sun. And I have a psychiatrist. Her name is Dr. Maria. I just call her Dr. Maria. Her first name is Maria. And I have a therapist, and that's Kelly. And my PCP that I had for 27 years, he had the nerve to retire. After 40 years of being a doctor, he had the nerve to retire. He did. He left me. I've been abandoned by my doctor, who's now retired. So as of August 31st at midnight, my doctor, he's gone on to his next life. And I'm so happy for him. I love him to pieces. He has a YouTube channel. He sings and plays piano and organ, and I will give you guys his YouTube channel name so that you can show him some love. And he's hella cute. Wait till you see him. I'll give it about a week, and I'll let him kind of like get settled, you know. His wife is a doctor too, and she's retired. So beautiful people, beautiful souls. So I have this team of mental health experts. I can say twice I was admitted into a mental health facility for 3 days each time. One was all the way back in, oh gosh, it was 80, it was a long time ago. It was before, it was more than 25 years ago. And it was from Friday night until Monday morning. And I didn't even need to go before the judge. I was just released after talking with the counselor. I had a divorce, and it was at Christmas time, and I was really struggling with all that. And then I had gotten pregnant, and it was a blighted ovum. So I had to go through a D&C, and I really struggled with all that. And so they felt it best just to keep me balanced to have me watched for a couple days. The facility was horrid, and I was glad to get out of there. I lost like 12 pounds in 3 days because I just wouldn't eat anything. I was so scared in there. And then the second time was in 2015-ish. I don't know, we've talked about it before, where I went through some visions of seeing my dad after he had passed. My therapist was thinking that I was beyond exhaustion and said, you know, how about a couple days, you just kind of like chill. And again, it was a case of, you know, sitting in groups, and they give you a lot of coloring books, and they mess with your meds, but the food was really good. And I was in for less than 48 hours, and I signed myself out. So that's my history of psych hospitals, nothing more, nothing less. Therapy has been on and off my whole life. And right now I'm on disability and have been for a few years for major depressive disorder, which I've always fought with the doctors about that one because, you know, I think they just threw that into the mix I don't even know why. I have my ups and downs with my moods, but major depressive disorder is pretty big to put on someone's chart. And I'm going to talk to my psychiatrist and see if we can't get rid of that because I have my down days, I have my sad days, but then I pick myself right back up. And OCD, and it's not the hand washing, locking the door kind of thing. It's like, I just really want to have some control over my environment. I like to have my house as neat as I can and orderly as I can. There's very few things in life that we can control. Very few. And the few things that we can, I grew up in a very neat home. I've always had a very neat home. And that's just how I am. So when things are like out of place, it stresses me out a little bit. And I need to put everything like where it belongs, you know. So that's where my OCD diagnosis comes in, because I was asked a couple of questions like, you know, what's your environment like? And I'm like, very neat, very tidy, and I prefer it that way. And if it's not neat and tidy, I'll make it neat and tidy. So they put OCD down. Severe anxiety and severe panic attacks, they've been since I was a child. They will stay with me until I take my last breath. There's no getting around that. No medication, no amount of therapy, no amount of meditation, no amount of listening to chants or stories or koans or anything is going to change the fact that your girl is an extremely anxious woman, period. It's in my DNA, it's who I am, it's what I am, and all that. Now, we talked a bunch of times about the fact that we all have anxiety, but we all have built-in good anxiety. We need that. Our body needs it. It protects us from things like, I've said, if you step off a curb and a car is screeching around the corner, you have the wherewithal without anxiety to step back so you don't get knocked into the next state. We need that kind of anxiety. That's built into us. That's the good anxiety. We embrace that, right? So sometimes if we're really excited about something, we can't really tell, are we anxious or are we excited? We're kind of a little bit of both because they both give us the same feelings. Yeah. So for me, my kind of anxiety is social anxiety. So it's really hard for me to go into big crowded spaces. That's also where agoraphobia can be thrown in. If I'm going to go to a wedding, a dance, a party, a family thing, I want to be one of the first people, because then I can like find my corner to kind of hide in. I don't want to be that last person or almost last person walking into a crowded room. I also struggle with when I have to make phone calls or when I have to answer the phone. And you guys know I'm getting better with talking on the phone. I've had a couple of conversations with a few of you, and it's getting better. It's getting easier with time and with practice, right? But still, it's still a thing with me, and I'm working on that. So the social anxiety, I'm sociable. I can talk to people out on the street, hold little conversations. How's the weather? How are you doing today? How's life treating you? No, I didn't see that kind of duck at the lake, because there was a woman the other day who happened to ask when I was taking my walk if there was a certain duck that happened to be there. And I said, nope, didn't see it. And she said, it has really long legs. And I'm like, nope, didn't see it. But there was a dead one. And it would go belly up, but it was so strange when it went belly up, because it kind of looked like, it almost looked like the two birds that they were like, it was a Friday night and they had a couple drinks. It kind of looked like that going on. And I'm like, what are they doing in there? Is that like two ducks? And I hope they have protection. It turned out to be a dead ptarmigan, something I didn't know. But again, it's been so long since I've been intimate, I couldn't tell a dead duck from two ducks that are doing it. But we'll get better with that as time goes on and I meet my man, you know what I mean? So anyway, so my anxiety runs, I could be in a store and I'm fine and then it'll just hit me. Like no rhyme or reason, no anything. I'll just turn the corner and it's like my heart rate goes up, I get dizzy, I start to sweat like crazy. I feel like the walls are closing in, like in those old cartoons that I talk about so often. I'm like, I got to get out of here. I got to get out of here. I feel so unsafe, like I'm going to die. And I don't want to pass out in a store and have all these people staring at me as I come to, right? And I don't want to die in a Walmart on top of everything else. So I want to get out where there's air. My mom had severe anxiety. Some of my kids have severe anxiety. And the panic attacks are the worst because no matter what you try to do to get it under control, you almost can't. For me, I've got to take my meds. Like if I had to go to the ER, and I haven't been to the ER for a panic attack for years, that's thanks to my PCP. He regulated my meds well enough that my psychiatrist, when she took over my meds, and I'm on Ativan, which is a benzodiazepine, it's a controlled substance, Schedule 4. I haven't had to go to the ER for a panic attack in forever, which is a good thing. But I still have panic attacks. I still get over anxious. I get really frustrated really easily. And I work on that every single day. So there's nothing scarier than when I'm in a car and I'm in a line of traffic and there's cars in front of me and cars behind me and I feel very trapped. Like that would be a thing for me. When I get on an airplane and there's no escape, that's a hard thing for me. If I would have to go to like meet new people in a family, like there's a good chance I have to double up my meds just in order to be able to meet new people, because that's just how your girl rolls. And I know that, and the people who love me know that, but I don't hide it, and I don't shame myself or anyone else for it. Because if you start talking to people about, like if you're on the phone and you're nervous, if you tell the person on the other end of the phone that you have an anxiety disorder, chances are they're going to say to you, you know what, so do I. And then so what you're doing is you're letting them know, you're giving them the okay to feel what they're feeling. But the more we keep all this stuff in and we hide it as though there's some shame to it, we're going to keep on doing that, and I don't do that ever. So then comes the big one, the BPD, the borderline personality disorder. And a lot of people get really confused and scratch their heads with that one because they think like one day I'm Mary and the next day I'm Susan and the next day I'm like Thomas Edison, or I don't know. But it's not multiple personality disorder, it's borderline personality disorder. The problem with borderline personality disorder is that there hasn't been enough research done on it, number one. And when there's not enough research done, it's because no one's going to make any money to research this. And there's so many components to BPD. So my BPD diagnosis is basically my anxiety, my panic, my OCD, my agoraphobia, and what they think is my major depressive disorder, all rolled into one big ball. And they call it BPD. Well, with BPD, we collectively have an intense fear of abandonment. Now, we weren't born with that. We didn't pop out and go, oh, I'm so afraid someone's going to leave me. We learned that over time because people have left us, whether it's our mother has left us, our father has left us, or a husband has left us. Heck, Sky just abandoned me. He just took off for his next life because his body was ready to shift into what was next. But I've been through divorces. I've been through divorces where men have left. I've dated people where they've just picked up and gone. My birth father never wanted to know me. I'm the product of an affair. I've talked about this. I didn't create the affair. I didn't have anything to do with it. I was just the outcome. You know, I was the mixture of the sperm and the egg, and then here I am, all blonde-haired and blue-eyed and also Irish in a Hungarian family. So did I fit in? No. So was I abandoned? Was I pushed aside? Was I bullied? Was I name called? Was I called the milkman's daughter 8,000 times when I'm like 6 years old? Yes. And on top of that, I was sexually molested by a brother multiple times, which is horribly scary when you're a very little girl and there's no one there to protect you. Okay? So then we grow up and we just make this assumption that everybody's going to abandon us. We're never going to be safe. No one's ever going to stay. And then we get this thing in our heads and we think 10 people have left, which means the next person is going to leave. So I'm going to do everything in my power to sabotage this relationship so that that man leaves, so that I can say, see, I told you so. I knew he was going to leave. Because in our heads, we're so sure it's going to happen. And we see everything in black and white. It's called splitting. We either love intensely our partner, or we absolutely hate our partner, one or the other. And so with BPD, we have to blend that splitting, and we have to make it the color gray. And we have to learn day by day, with the help of your therapist and the help of friends and family that stick around, and you'll know who your people are. You'll get a circle, right? Like I have a circle of people. I know who my people are. I know who have my back. I know who I can turn to. I know who loves me intensely. So that's what you go by. And you know that these people are not going to leave you. But it takes time, and it takes constant exposure to someone being there, like anything else. And all those things with BPD go away or can be managed and go away. So for all of the nasty videos that are out there for people who have BPD, and it's usually men that put them out there, and they're like, don't get involved with a BPD woman. Please don't watch those videos. Don't grab a hold of that and think, oh no, I'm done. I'm sunk. I'm just done. You're not done, sweetheart. You're not done. That diagnosis is charted because the insurance needs to be billed. Okay? Everything you're feeling is because of stuff that's happened to you. So you will be okay. You just want to work on yourself every single day. And you want to get yourself to the 100% mark. And once you're 100%, and you can look yourself in the mirror at night and in the morning, and you can say, damn girl, you got it going on. You're okay. And then you can add someone else into your circle. So please don't hold on to this diagnosis and think it's the end of your life. It is not. You're going to come out the strongest woman or man. It's primarily a woman thing. Isn't that interesting? And who diagnoses us? Mostly men psychiatrists. So, do the math, it's the 1 + 1 = 5. It's mostly men that diagnose women with BPD. So, you can get through this. Take the diagnosis and sit it over here a while. Don't be staring at it, okay? Find yourself a really good therapist. More and more therapists are taking diagnoses and they're putting them off the table. They're talking to the person and they're not talking to the diagnosis, which I'm so glad to see. My last couple therapists said, we're not even going to look at your diagnoses, poet. Doesn't matter. So I want to give hope to people out there with that diagnosis, because it can be really scary. Like, oh, I've been diagnosed with BPD. What do I do? You live. You live, and you do the best you can do. And if you start to feel yourself getting really angry and really frustrated, you take a step back, you go in another room, you count to 10, you do some deep breathing, you do whatever you need to do, you give yourself some time, you don't make any major decisions that night, you sleep on it and decide in the morning you're going to feel totally different the next day. I promise you. Know that, yes, some people are going to walk out of your life. Let them. If someone walks out of your life, it's because they don't belong in your life. They don't deserve you. So let them. Hold the door for them and then lock it behind them. For the people who stay, nurture them and love them and be there for them, and they will be there for you. So it's not an end of the world diagnosis. I can't give any input on like schizophrenia or bipolar because that's not my area. So I'm not going to talk about something I know nothing about. But I have some friends who know a lot about that, and hopefully if you feel comfortable putting something in the comments about any of this stuff, please do, but only with your comfort. And if you're not comfortable commenting for the world to see, feel free to always come over to Messenger. I'm on Facebook under Poet Quinn, Quinn. you can message me. You can add me as a friend. I have my add a friend open. You can message me, and whatever we talk about over there stays over there. And it goes no further. No further. No one else knows what's going on over there. It's between me and you. So if you've gotten a diagnosis, if you don't know what to do, if you just feel like, you're at your wit's end, I've been through all of it. I've been to hell and back 100 times in my lifetime, and I'm still standing. Okay? I've never been to jail. I'm not an alcoholic. I'm not a drug addict. I'm not any of those things. But I've been through some stuff, and it's just made me stronger. So I talk about these things openly and honestly for the world because I want people to stop being ashamed because someone gives a diagnosis because the insurance has to be billed. Medications need to be given because the pharmaceutical companies need to get rich sometimes, right? The Eastern culture, they got it all over us because they don't go that route. Here in the West, it's a lot of medications will medicate you. So throw things in the comments if you care to. So I'm okay enough. I'm getting by. I'm managing. I had a couple of really crappy days. Some stuff came up. I didn't like it. Some stuff with my kid. Some stuff in my personal life. I hit that 7-month mark, and that's been really hard on me. And I'm in that dating, on that cusp of the dating world. And so I know what I want in my life and I know what I don't want because of the walk that I've already had over the years. And I know I'm older, and I know the chances of me meeting someone who is going to need help or care are higher because we all are getting older. But that's okay, and that's just called life experience. So you either make a decision that you're going to be alone, or you make a decision to open up your heart to somebody and know that, you're going to grow old and grow through the aches and pains together. So there's a whole lot going on in my personal life right now that I'm dealing with. I'm a little bit slower over on Messenger right now just because I'm trying to play catch up. But if you have a mental health diagnosis, and honestly, with the way the world is right now, with what we see on the news, with what we see on social media, with everything we're bombarded with on a daily basis that is really ugly and cold and cruel, I think every one of us on the face of the earth could be diagnosed with something mental health related. Every one of us. I don't think anyone is unscathed at this point. So you just gotta do the best you can do. So I'm going to finish my coffee. Make sure that you put the oxygen mask on you first because you've got to take care of you before you can take care of anybody else. Okay? You're going to go inch by inch, not yard by yard. And pain is inevitable. Suffering is optional. And try and hang on to some of that stuff until I'm back and we can talk about something else. And if there's something you want to talk about, put it down in the comments for me. Know that I love you guys more than anything else, and you guys lift me up and you keep me going. Every one of yous. Thank you for choosing me and my channel and being here with me during this time. And if there's anything I can do for anyone, just hit me up over on Messenger or here in comments. Okay? So stay safe.